Hello, listeners, and welcome to Spooky Time with Mike and Mindy.
Hi, guys.
Hi. Today we have a special guest all the way in from the East Coast, D.C. area, Baltimore, Maryland. Eric?
Hello.
He's my brother.
I am the brother.
My brother-in-law. Hi, Eric.
Hi. I'm happy to be here.
He flew in just for the show.
Just for the show, specifically because I was requested by you guys to do a very special podcast.
Yeah.
And I'm very happy to be here for it.
Oh, awesome.
You're our first guest.
Yep, first guest.
Of no real significance to anyone else.
He didn't actually fly here just for this. Just wanted to clarify.
Yeah. This was just a bonus.
It was.
So in this episode, we asked Eric to join us because we wanted to talk about spooky video games. Mike and my experience is pretty limited.
Minimal at best, so we thought Eric would be a unique voice on this since he is much more of an avid gamer than either of us are, and specifically with scary or spooky games. So we thought, who better than someone that actually plays them to come and talk about the subject?
I do play video games, so I would be the person to ask.
So, and Mike and I do play games, I think a lot more than an average person, but nowhere near as, official gamers.
Yeah.
So, but Mike, do you have any experience with any sort of spooky or horror games?
Sure. Well, I guess, I would say probably the biggest ones for me, probably going to date myself, be Diablo 1, Blizzard Entertainment game. I know. Yeah, Blizzard Entertainment game.
And these were on the computer that you played?
Computer, but although they did also release it for PlayStation 1 and N64.
Okay.
A very limited
still
release.
Still very classic.
Yeah, very classic. And that was more of kind of a gothic horror type game setup. You know, you're actually you're fighting demons and stuff, so pretty spooky in some cases.
Not officially listed as a horror game.
No, I don't think the genre.
Elements.
Yeah, I don't think the genre existed in that sense. Otherwise, Doom.
Doom is a classic. That is one I didn't even think of.
Doom is classic too, and just I'd say more classic type games than that, or maybe just some spooky elements in some of the normal games that I would play, but it wouldn't necessarily.
It horror.
Yeah, Zelda Ocarina of Time. There's graveyard, ghost, and skeleton scenes.
Real scary stuff.
No, but for spooky, for spooky.
Sure, there are spooky scenes.
But
in a lot of games.
no actual games aside from that whose purpose was just to frighten or anything like that.
Yeah.
How about you?
Well, you reminded me of Ghosts and Goblins really quick from the Nintendo.
I was going to shout out Ghosts and Goblins.
Yeah, so, and I was like, oh my god, I can't believe I forgot to mention Ghosts and Goblins, because that's, super old. But then also, do you remember the Haunted House game from Atari, Eric? That Mom loved, where you were, two eyeballs, and then you had to, find a candle or something, and then you would light up briefly. And
Dungeon, wasn't it?
Yeah, and then I think there were different stairs to, go up in the house or something, and... I still don't know what the purpose of that game was, but
the
I
Atari
think
didn't have many purposeful games.
I think those were my very first two experiences. Otherwise, I consider Duke Nukem pretty horrifying with the alien gator type of guys.
Yeah.
And then I remember too, I was sleeping over at a friend's house back in second or third grade when Goosebumps was big, and she got the Welcome to Horrorland computer game.
Ooh,
so we played that for a bit. I wasn't allowed to play because it was her birthday and her video game, but I got to watch her play, and I was like, that's pretty cool.
There was a horror game that you and I played when we had that one where it connected the guns to the TV, and it was a movie that we traversed through. I can't remember what it was called. It was shooting zombies and stuff.
Yeah. Wasn't that just the Connect, the first Connect, zombie game or something?
Yeah. It was extremely poorly designed. And
and
so many
we
flaws.
only played once because it was just so bad. Yeah, or on the Wii, or I don't know. Maybe it was the Wii. It was the Wii because it had you took the Wii controllers and put them into the game.
The plastic gun.
Yes, it was totally the Wii, and it was really bad, and the shots were all horrible.
It didn't pick up sensors very well.
No, that was bad.
Yeah.
I would be remiss though, guys, if I did not call out what I think is the most quintessential spooky game that the two of you played, which was Grabbed by the Ghoulies.
I know.
I remember that one.
Yeah. Well,
Really?
I wrote it down because I played it a lot. And I think Eric wasn't really interested because it wasn't that scary. Same with the Haunted Mansion video game.
Yeah,
I played that on easy, and it was the first and only game I think I've ever played all the way through and actually won. And I had it on easy the entire time. And then I was like, you know what? I beat it on easy. Let's try medium. I played for like 5 minutes and I was like, nah, I'm done. Because I'm not good at games. Like, I'm good at like just watching things happen. Or if I can just mash buttons. But like having to shoot people or run around or figure things out, that's not me. That's not my style.
Yeah. Well, and Michelle's kind of the same way. She's more
Michelle
at the beginning.
is his girlfriend. Shout out to Michelle.
Hi, Michelle. Love you, girl. We're playing BioShock right now, and she wanted to play on easy because she is just getting into games.
Sure.
And I foolishly said, "No, we're gonna play on normal because so she can't even really play
that
because
sucks. Just start over."
Wait, we're really deep in it now, but we're gonna do BioShock 2 and Infinite on easy.
Could you change the?
It messes up the achievements, and I'm like deeply hunting to get like those 2% achievements that nobody has.
So you're really just playing for yourself. You're just like, that's nice, Michelle, but I
like to plead the fifth on that one.
Okay.
All right,
so, like, plead the fifth once.
Moving on.
So that was it.
All right, there you go.
All right. So Eric, you were talking that there's like different types of horror games. Can you kind of explain that?
Yeah. So there's all types of video games, and there's different types of genres in the sense that there's the typical first person shooter game. There's the third person shooter, and Evil Within is a game that's a third person over the shoulder camera, so you're following the character.
Okay.
Versus first person, which is you are the character.
Like in their eyes.
Yeah,
okay.
Exactly. And then there's also different types, like there's dungeon crawlers, there's...
Does that mean you're like crawling
so
on
that means
floor?
that...
No.
I don't know. I have no idea.
Alright, so dungeon crawler, it basically means you, like for example, Binding of Isaac. I'll throw another one in there. And that's on the Switch. And that game, you get dropped in a cellar, and you go through different rooms to clear out all of them before you fight the big boss, and then drop down to the next cellar. And it continues on that path.
Okay.
So it's not necessarily jump horror. It's just...
So it's kind of like the Adventure Time game that we played.
Yeah.
Explore this dungeon because I don't know.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah,
is,
okay.
Yes.
So
it's also which Diablo 1 technically was a dungeon crawler, too.
Gotcha.
You like levels, and then you traverse through each level.
I just pictured someone like crawling on the floor in a dungeon, but that makes way more sense.
But that makes sense in a horror sense, that a weird thing would be crawling around.
Yeah.
And there's a lot of things that crawl around and spit blood and
Yeah.
stuff, and Binding of Isaac. So
okay.
That's another one. And then, for example, you have a more story-based game like Until Dawn, which is a decision-based game. So you make all the decisions for the characters.
Okay.
And you really ultimately decide if they live or die.
So like the Walking Dead game.
The Walking Dead
too,
also,
that
yes.
you played, Mike.
The Telltale.
Yeah.
Walking Dead.
Okay.
Oh, yeah, I guess I did play that. I'm sorry.
You did play that.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
did,
that one's an excellent game as well. And that's another story.
Those games I'm better at for sure, because all you do is pick some stuff and then it tells you what buttons to mash.
Right.
I'm still not good at
push
it,
this
but
button
I'm
or
better
push
at
that
it.
button.
It literally is a hand-holding guided tour through these
which
games.
Some of us need.
Which is good though.
Yeah.
It's more about the story at that point.
Yeah, and isn't that kind of a big part of it is having a good story to a video game. Like, it can't just go around shooting things. Like, what's the point of that? I mean, I guess I don't understand it, but I guess there are points of it for other people.
You can't just be floating eyeballs just grabbing candles for no reason right now.
Oh my god, there was a video game. Do you remember that you were, like, shooting eyeballs that flew at you?
Castlevania? I don't know.
Yeah.
But that's
you know what, I'm just
there was a
look.
portion of Star Fox when you would shoot eyeballs.
I swear there's like
But so I would say that the horror genre it's very open in that sense that there's a lot of opportunities for great storytelling as well as gameplay. And in the last 5 years or so, horror games have kicked off into a new generation, and there's been excellent releases. The year Evil Within released, Alien Isolation also released, and that's a different type of gameplay as well, because you have different people to battle on each level, but you have one massive beast that's tracking you at all times that will kill you with one hit, and you have to like pick and choose when to hide, when to run, things like that.
Yeah.
And there's a couple, and Slender.
Yep.
Slender had the 8 pages for the PC. Mm-hmm. That's another one where you have a creature stalking you, but you have to search and find certain letters and things throughout the game. So there's...
I can't find this eyeball thing. I swear it's a thing, though. Like, someone else was asking about it, and there was an article in this forum, and everybody's like, is it this? Is it that? And this guy's like, no, that's not it. I'm going to have to figure it out.
Listeners, challenge out there. Find the flying eyeball game. So,
where you shoot eyeballs, or do you shoot...
It's like
eyeballs that shoot?
No, it's a side-scrolling game, and I swear you're like this person that like jumps and shoots eyeballs, and it has like the retinas and stuff coming off of it.
I can picture.
Is it Castlevania?
Look up Castlevania.
I would say Castlevania is the closest that you could get to something along those lines, but we never actually played very far in Castlevania.
Just look it up.
I swear it's on.
Castlevania was a side-scroller for a very long time.
Mm-hmm.
It was on the computer.
Yeah, I can't think of that one.
I'll keep looking. You guys keep talking.
Well, so that was kind of like...
There's definitely a lot of room of different types of genres and gameplay through the horror series itself alone. It just shows the flexibility of video games in general.
Oh, yeah. Well, and it's also, too, interesting because it's an exploration of the genre. So, it's not just limited to, like, a book... a movie, but it has that kind of interactivity with video games, which kind of also adds a bit of the element of fright or scare.
It puts you in the driver's seat. You are playing as the main character.
Right, and whereas like with a movie, you can kind of know when things are going to happen because it gets a little quieter, you hear the violins going...
You can look away from the screen if something's scary. You know something's going to jump out, but in video games, you can't look away.
Right, because you have to play it. Yeah,
you
have to keep your eyes on it because you have to tell where to go.
Exactly.
Okay. Interesting.
Yeah.
All right. Mindy, do we want to maybe go into the
we're going to talk about Eric's top 5 horror, spooky video games. More horror than spooky, I would say. Yeah. So, number 5, what is it?
Number 5 is Resident Evil 4.
So now this is from 2005, and it seems like it came out on a ton of platforms, and probably was re-released.
It really
originated
times. On PlayStation and GameCube starters, and then it received multiple awards and accolades that they said, we need to remaster this, we need to put it on every possible system because it's a really great game.
So, but like, why have this game when I actually read, or you read, that an article of like top games that break up couples? So this one and like Mario Kart were on it. And so what makes it something that couples break up over?
Well, it's interesting because it would more so be Resident Evil 5 that would break up couples because that you have 2-player ability. In Resident Evil 4, it's only 1 player.
Isn't this what you played with Aaron, though?
That was Resident Evil 5.
It was 5.
It was 5. And 5 was fun, too, but it wasn't the same. Like,
gotcha.
Resident Evil 4, honestly, was one of the greatest horror games, or video games I've ever played.
Okay.
And I had bought it, and I was kind of scared, and then my best friend slept over, and we just were like, we're going to power through this, we're going to beat this game tonight. Because I always got stuck on the first chainsaw guy, because I didn't know where the shotgun was, and I Googled it. I found the shotgun finally, but he killed me like 20 times before I was like, I'm not playing this game ever again. And then Aaron came over, and we literally stayed up until 5:30 and played for 8.5 hours straight just to beat this game, because I did not want to be scared anymore.
Yeah, I mean, I don't blame you.
So did you get to the end?
Yes.
Okay. I guess I could ask, have you played all of these to completion?
All top 5 I've beaten.
Okay. Cool.
On what level? Easy, medium. Okay.
I'm not a professional gamer, so I can't play on expert or hard, but I will say I'm an average gamer.
So Mindy and I did watch the trailers to all 5 of these, so could we insert our quick thoughts? Or
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. So I would say, just to clarify, neither Mindy or I have played any of these. But
don't talk for me.
Oh,
actually,
my apologies. Well, maybe not a lot. So
yeah, no, definitely not a lot.
Yeah.
I think I literally only played for like 3 minutes when Eric was like, "Check this out, it's super cool."
Yeah,
but I'll talk about that when we get to that one.
Or maybe we, watched him play.
Yes.
Like we've seen it. But one of the things I saw thought when I watched the trailer for Resident Evil 4 is I was like, this looks just like a Final Fantasy game. And it's funny because it's Capcom. It's Capcom, and it's also too it was a Sony PlayStation release, which all of Final Fantasy up till that point, in 2005 were Sony and PlayStation releases. So it was just really interesting that it looked just like Final Fantasy characters, but in this setting of Resident Evil instead.
And I would say Resident Evil in general is. And this is number 4, obviously. So there was 3 titles prior to this, and I jumped right into 4 just because I heard all these good things about it. So I completely skipped the first 3.
Did you ever play the first 3?
No. Nope. Oh. I completely skipped them, and then I should go back and play them because I feel like I'm
But
not
you
doing
did watch
it
the movie, right?
Of course.
So you had a bit of an understanding.
There's like a billion movies too now.
There's
right?
2 Resident. No, 3. There's at least 3 Resident Evil movies.
I feel like there might even be more.
At 2005, there's only one.
At 2005, I think
only
there's just that first
movie
one.
was out.
Yeah. So I mean, throughout the first 3 games, there's an explanation of zombies in Raccoon City and an outbreak. In Resident Evil 4, it's a little different. So you actually are tasked to save the president's daughter, and you have to you go to this small town that is also infected, but it's not the same as zombies. These infected actually think and move and attack you in different ways that was not seen prior to that. Like, if you're pointing your gun at one of these infected for too long, he'll move out of the way before you shoot. And it put a new spin on it. And there's a lot of the big bosses and battles in Resident Evil 4 were very unique and memorable. One of the best fight scenes of all time is a knife fight you get in with a soldier, and
is he infected?
No, he's part he's part of a whole conspiracy, but the fight is really unique because it's a button pressing event in the middle of the game. So it's a different type of fight versus just like shooting at them. You have to match the button at the right time.
Okay.
So it's
like the storytelling games where you're pressing the buttons to go with things.
Kinda, yeah.
So like a mini game engine in the larger game engine.
Exactly.
Okay.
Yeah. I did check. There are now 6 Resident Evil movies, and there were 2 out by the time this video game came out.
Got it.
There's 7 Resident Evil games plus extra games in between those main 7. So I think there's
are they like
10.
spin-offs of?
They like kind of continues the story.
Sequel?
Yeah, I can only really speak for 4 and 5.
Okay.
But from what I saw, it just lives in the same realm. And then so they've got a large. It's a very big franchise, so that's why I had to put it in my top 5.
Oh yeah, for sure. It's definitely one I've heard of a lot, and not just because of you.
Yeah,
for sure.
So number 4 is.
Number 4 is Until Dawn.
All right, and this one came out in 2015 and looks like PS4.
Yep.
Is that what you played it on too?
It was PS4 exclusive actually.
Okay.
And Until Dawn is a story-based game. I had alluded to it earlier, where you control these 8 friends go up to a cabin, and it's like your typical
the woods.
Yeah, it's your typical slasher movie, right?
Yeah.
Except every decision is made by you. So there could be like, go down this path, or hide, or do you pick up this knife? Do you do things like this?
Okay.
And like there's a certain part where one of the character's hands or fingers gets caught in a bear trap, and you have to decide to either chop it off or try and break the bear trap. So, and it's really unique, and like it's a really interesting game because all 8 characters can live, some of them can die, or all of them can die.
So do you make decisions for each of these characters then, or are you a main person?
No, it's every character. It goes along through certain chapters, and it's more of that guided storytelling game. But at the same time, it's every decision you make could have a ripple effect in the future. So one of the very first decisions you can make is you pick up a BB gun and there's a squirrel. You can either choose to shoot the bag that's the target, or you can actually shoot the squirrel.
Gotcha.
And then that'll change how other characters view that character.
So does this one connect to the internet too, and then show you like how other people have made decisions, and like if you make you feel crappy about yourself if you shot the squirrel but everybody else shot the bag or something?
Yep.
Yeah.
I think it was 84% shot the target, and there was that 16% that shot the squirrel.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. And you'd mentioned that Hayden Panettiere is one of the characters.
Yes.
I took a look at the cast and also found that Megan Martin is in it, who was in Camp Rock. So, and we had been talking about her, talking about Camp Rock earlier, because the Jonas Brothers coming to town. And I just thought that was like a fun, weird fact, but I don't know if she's even doing anything anymore, but I was like, hey, I know that name.
Yeah.
So,
I want to state for the record, I shot the target. I did not shoot the squirrel.
Okay, good, because I just assumed you shot the squirrel, but I guess that's good to know. Every time you've played the game, you've shot the bag?
I have.
Okay.
I've never shot the squirrel.
Okay.
I've played the game 3 times through now. And
Good man.
Yeah.
Good man.
So now this is something that I could probably play?
Yep, yeah. And it's something I think you would very much enjoy. And it's one of those that, like how V for Vendetta is, you watch it on November 5th every year. During Halloween, you could pick up Until Dawn and play it periodically through the month of October to like get yourself hyped and psyched for Halloween things.
Yeah.
But you're also getting a different story every time you play.
Okay.
I mean, it's the same main story, obviously, but...
Yeah. I mean, you're not going to go to the beach or something
Yeah,
and figure out how to surf, and do you shoot the shark or do you shoot, I don't know, whatever else you shoot.
Just in the air.
Like the buoy or something. I don't know.
Do you jump the shark, or do you
You jump from the boat.
Are you making a joke?
A little.
Are you my like Wisconsin came out? Are you making a joke?
Making a joke.
No.
Well, jumping the shark, you hear that. That's from
That's
from Happy Days, which is a Wisconsin-based show where Fonzie jumps a shark.
Like, okay, I don't want to. We're not getting off track with this.
It's fine.
So, any other questions about that one?
No. I mean, I watched the trailer, and it definitely seemed, you got that sense that there were multiple ways that the story could wind itself depending on how it played out. Definitely got some creepy vibes over it. From the trailer, I don't know if I necessarily gathered what was happening, other than just you're in a cabin, there are these people there, there's danger, but it wasn't really clear, at least from the trailer, what necessarily the danger was. Maybe that's good, though, because it doesn't give it away, so
yeah,
we might give it a try.
A little bit more of the backstory is you actually go to the cabin a year or a couple of years before that, and tragedy strikes, and 2 sisters that were their friends end up dying. And then you flash forward back to the present. The remaining friends have gathered to be back in this cabin.
Okay.
So,
got it.
A little bit of backstory for
Got
you.
it. Okay.
Cool. So number 3 is
Left 4 Dead.
Cool. All right. So this one came out in 2008, Xbox 360. That's what I looked up. Okay.
It was 360.
I noticed when I watched this trailer that they moved super fast. Like, and this was the one with the Spider-Man looking guy coming off the off the building, and I was like, Spider-Man, Spider-Man. But then like it got really scary. So yeah.
So Left 4 Dead is really, it's another different type of game where it's a 4-player cooperative game, and I think there's 4 or 5 main levels, and it is online as well, because other players can play as the special zombies, like the Spider-Man one you saw. So, and Left 4 Dead 2 kind of just increased this gameplay. It's just, I picked Left 4 Dead as a generic, this series is very good. So you go through, and there are fast zombies, they run, and they're called hordes, and they're actually randomly generated throughout each of the maps. So like you could just be having a lull in the story, and the map will send you a horde of zombies.
I feel like I remember you like talking in the microphone and stuff while playing this one then.
Yeah. Aaron and I played a lot.
I was going to say, I do remember you in the living room playing this one an awful lot.
And in the first one, there's only a couple of special zombies. There's the hunter, which you can jump from very far ways away, and if you pounce on one of the human characters, he eventually starts ripping him limb from limb, and he could be knocked down, which you have to go and pick up your friends.
Okay.
The more people that get to the end, the higher score you get. And then the team that gets the most by the end of the 5th level of each of the worlds wins.
Okay.
So there's the hunter, then there's also one called the smoker, which shoots out this weird, it's like a tongue almost, and he lassos characters.
Ew.
And like and dangles them above and like holds them.
Oh.
Yeah. And then there's
so then the hunter guy could jump on him,
so
like if they're all working together or something.
What's the smoke aspect to the smoker?
No,
there is no smoke aspect?
No, there is. There's a lot of audio cues. Like the hunter has certain like noises that it makes, and
so you're like being stalked
by
or
the
something.
hunter, and the smoker coughs, and when you shoot and kill the smoker, it explodes into smoke.
Oh, cool.
Okay. Yeah, and so there's
what does the hunter explode into?
Nothing.
Oh,
dies, I think.
Okay. That sounded cool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. So and then there's I can't remember if there's many other special ones.
What about the Hulk one?
So there is
Hulk smash.
There is one special one that is placed in each of the levels as a unique one. It's called the tank, and one of the characters or one of the players on the zombie team controls the tank, and it's very powerful. And honestly, it was overpowered if you actually threw a car at the players because they would instantly be killed.
Oh, okay.
I'm gonna move.
Yeah.
But then there's also
the term nerfing. Did they ever nerf him?
No.
They didn't. Am I using that term right? Nerf, Eric?
Yes, actually.
Okay. Yeah. Could you explain a bit about what nerf is?
Nerf
I know
guns?
the word.
So when the developers release a game, let's just throw a random one in there for clarity purposes. In Overwatch, there's certain characters that have certain abilities, and they basically break the meta because the meta being the base teams. Like that's what wins most games is these 6 characters. So when a character is overpowered, they break the meta and they're instantly placed every single game in that game, and no matter what. And like you always have to see that character because they're very powerful. Mm-hmm. So then when the developers decide this character's too powerful, they will nerf him.
Like handicap him.
Yes.
Okay.
Got it. Like they might reduce damage that he does, or make his cooldowns on his special go longer.
Or give him Nerf dart guns.
Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, that's what it is, obviously.
Oh, Nerf dart guns?
No.
Well, yeah. So when they design a character, they're not necessarily thinking about how their abilities fit into the game mechanics. They could break the game mechanics by being too powerful. Mm-hmm. Okay, got it. Yeah.
Well, and I guess it depends on how people are able to play the game, like how well people play, right? Because if these characters are built to be a certain strength, but they don't realize people just aren't going to be at that level at that point in the game unless they're playing over and over and over and over again.
Sure,
but they still
get really
want
good at it.
Yeah, right?
Yeah.
Or played in a way that wasn't intended.
And the purpose of nerfing is to balance the game so that casual players can also feel like this character isn't ruining the game.
Sure. To still finish it and then want to buy more games in the series and enjoy it.
And not get frustrated.
But if you're playing expert mode or something, all the nerfs are off. And
something like that. But that's a little...
But you wouldn't know that because you don't play expert
That's
level.
right.
I come from the age of video games where you get frustrated and throw your controllers and quit.
I
threw my fair share of controllers.
Oh my gosh.
So to go back to Left 4
Dead. Let's
circle back.
Sorry.
Circle back to so there's certain special characters that are not playable by players, and in the trailer you heard the crying of that one, the witch.
Oh, right.
So that
was weird and creepy.
Those are randomly placed throughout the map as well.
Witches or just other characters? Okay.
And so like if you disturb a witch, you will instantly get killed.
Oh.
So and my best friend and I played this game so much that we actually got bored just playing the regular version, and we decided to race to the safe zone. So literally every level we would just go as fast as we could. Oh. And we would say, strongest survive. If I can pick you up, if I'm within like a 5-meter radius of picking you up, I will. Mm-hmm. Otherwise you die. And there was a as I was getting to the safe zone, I was way in the lead. Aaron was way behind me.
Yeah.
And I turn the corner, I see the safe zone, I look down, there's a witch sitting on the floor in front of the safe zone.
So do they end up in different places?
Yeah, those are also randomly generated, like the hordes.
Gotcha. Because I was like, if they're always in the same spot, that's kind of lame. Yeah. So, okay. That's cool.
I actually jumped over that witch, closed the door, and I won.
Nice.
Good for me. It was one of my best gaming moves.
Yeah.
So.
Awesome.
So, number 2 is...
Dead Rising.
Now, this is the one I played for like 3 minutes once.
How do you? Yeah,
because I was like, this looks so fun. Because you can like pick up anything and kill these zombies and like with soccer balls and stuff, right? Yeah. It was like anything. And I was like, oh, I could totally play this. And Eric's like killing all these guys all these cool ways with this soccer ball. And then I like try to play for like 2 minutes and I'm like, yeah, I can't play this. So...
Well, all right. So the premise of Dead Rising, it was 2006, Xbox 360 as well.
Yeah, I got too excited because I was like, "This is the only one I touched." So.
Yeah. And you're a reporter, and you're going to this town. You don't know why, but you're a photographer actually.
Okay.
And you're supposed to be taking pictures of what's happening to report.
I totally missed that part.
Yeah.
All I know is you running around.
Yeah.
I didn't even know there was like an actual story.
There is, and you actually have 72 hours in this mall, and there's 57,000 zombies packed into this mall.
Oh,
and
does it give you a count so that you know? Okay.
And there's I have a fun achievement about that one as well. But so you get dropped into the mall, and you have to survive for 72 hours. There's other humans throughout the mall, and depending on if you can get them back to the safe zone, you'll get certain achievements for rescuing X amount of them. So throughout the mall, you actually have to eat food. You have to survive. You have to build up your strength. It's not just running
kicking
around.
People
you actually have
balls.
to eat and stuff. And you could even drink spoiled milk, and you'll get sick.
Oh.
Yeah. And gross. Yeah. So there's hardware stores where you can get chainsaws, scythes, like hammers, axes. You can even chop zombies in half with hedge trimmers.
But why do that when you can get a skateboard?
Oh yeah, or you can hit them with a skateboard, or you can take a shower head and put it in the head of a zombie, and it'll rain blood.
Oh my god!
Wow! It is a very gory game. It is one of the goriest games I've ever played, and this was 13 years ago, so I was 15 playing it. I mean, that's
about right.
Yeah,
par for the course.
Yeah.
I do have to ask though: is this the game with the motorcycle with the chainsaws?
Yeah,
on the
that
handles?
Was one of the bosses.
Is that
I think.
that? Okay, good. So
okay.
like I seem to remember something about that. And Mindy's like, well, just ask him. I'm like, okay.
I'm almost certain. I don't remember many of the bosses, but I do recall that.
Good.
And so when I first started this game, I you don't get a lot of weapons or strong weapons. You get one handgun that has maybe 10 shots on it. And it's like, okay, I can't do anything against the first guy. So I looked up ways to be better. And there's an achievement for killing 57,000 zombies. And you get the Megaman Blaster, which they had a toy Megaman Blaster that shot Nerf balls. And that didn't do any damage.
Hey, nerfing.
So they nerfed him.
They nerfed him. But if you killed 57,000 zombies and made it to the helicopter, the next game you play, you get a 300-shot actual Mega Man gun, and it was overpowered like crazy.
What do you mean the next game you play? Do you not win after beating 57,000 zombies?
There's much more. I actually ended up killing like 60,000, but there's
so it's like an unlock, and then you get to go back and replay.
And and that creates the replayability. So you play the same story, but they gave me the.
So they just plop you back in the mall, start over, but you get a new weapon.
Yep.
Okay. Can you change the difficulty and like it's like restarting entirely, or you just?
So like you can go and play on a harder difficulty. It's just basically playing the game over again.
Oh, okay,
so,
gotcha.
But you get a really kick-ass gun.
Do you get that every time then, or is it just the one replay?
No, and that gun, it stays with you for the rest of any time you play that game. And you even if you ran out of your 200 shots, you could drop it, and another one will spawn back in your locker room, so you'll always have it.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Huh.
And the easiest way to do it is you go down to the garage and get into a car and just go back and forth running over zombies until your car is about to break. Then you get into a different car and do the same thing.
Okay, so you just sat there for hours going back and forth on a bike on a bridge to hatch your egg, pretty much like in Pokemon.
Yep.
Okay.
Yep.
So,
exactly.
In retrospect, Eric, how does it make you feel about your life that you spent that much time just running over zombies?
How does it make you feel when you could have been like working, making money, studying?
It felt great.
Yeah.
It was one of the greatest things because I got the Mega Man Blaster, and let me tell you, one of the first bosses you face is a clown that had killed children and put it on a ride.
Oh my gosh!
Do you remember that?
No, but that reminded me of the new newer Twisted Metal, where they had the clown as a guy that went in and like murdered a bunch of people stuff and gave him like an actual backstory. I played that briefly until I couldn't. I'm just bad at video games, so I played it for like 3 rounds and I haven't played it since. But that reminded me of that. I hate clowns.
Yeah.
Anyways.
I thought you were going to talk about the game that we saw at Best Buy.
Oh, yeah.
That is yesterday. About a clown that puts you on a roller coaster, or you're on the roller coaster to fight clowns.
I forget what it's called. But you're put on a roller coaster.
It's until dawn, but it's like you're put on this roller coaster. It was supposed to be for a VR actually.
Okay, you're put on a roller coaster, and then you have to shoot like your fears or something. It was like $20, and I was like, should we get this? And then we didn't. But
that's technically the spin-off of Until Dawn because
so wait, is that decision based? Does it tell?
No, you're just on a roller coaster shooting things.
Okay, so I won't be good at it.
Yeah.
But, unless I could pick like super easy, and there's like one thing that pops up, and it like stays there in the distance for a long time.
Really long.
And I can shoot like 50 times. Yeah.
Got it.
No, so
circling back.
Yeah, the clown. Yeah. He was terribly hard for me. I didn't have the right weapons, none of it. So I said, I need the best gun. I need to just power through this to get these guns. And he died in like 2 shots from the Megaman Blaster. So it's like,
did you ever play all the way through then without getting that super gun?
No.
Or you're like, screw this, I'm going online. I'm just going to run over zombies in the parking lot for 5 million hours.
Yep.
So you never played without that gun?
Nope.
Wow. Okay.
Put things in perspective, yeah.
Now, Eric.
Now I'm just like, maybe you're not that great of a gamer.
I'm not. I'm really not a good gamer.
to ask the other, a clarifier for a term.
Mm-hmm.
Now, the running over the zombies for a very long amount of time, kind of the mundane thing. Is that called grinding? Is that the game?
Grinding the game.
Grinding?
I've heard of that.
Yeah, so that's what that is.
I grind it out.
Yeah, I remember some grinding sessions in Final Fantasy. Believe my friend Capaldi rubber banded the thumb controllers so that character would just keep running in circles, and then the X button to attack. So it would be random encounters, running in a circle, and X button to kill them.
But that's the way to build up experience and to level up higher.
This is why I'm bad at Pokemon.
Yeah,
you
have to grind.
You have to level them up before
I'm so
before you go to gyms.
I
can't go to a gym with a level 5
I can't just
Squirtle
get all
and
the cute
expect to
ones
win.
and like just walk in there and be like, aren't these cute?
Well, you can.
Here's a badge.
You can battle with cute ones, but you have to get them a higher level.
Those are participation trophies, and they don't exist in Pokemon.
Oh, man.
They don't. All right. Well, thank you for. I just want to put some
We're all
some
learning.
informational nuggets out there.
Yeah.
All right. Anything else about Dead Rising before we?
Just that it was a very beautiful game, and there's a lot that
simple but fun, right?
Yeah, simple but fun.
Yeah.
And I wish they had an infinite mode where it didn't limit me to 72 hours, where I could just sit in the mall and do whatever I wanted.
Are there any more Dead Rising games?
There's 4.
Are they good?
I've tried the second one.
Yeah.
I didn't play it too long, and then I wanted to pick up 4 for the Xbox One because the scope is much bigger. You're in a city, and it's the same concept, but you actually can craft. And actually, funnily enough, and that's also a shout out to Michelle because I hate that word.
But not her.
Yeah, no, but not her. She's wonderful. You could craft in that game too. You could take a broom and also some kind of sharp object, and you could create like a spear and like things like that.
Okay.
So the crafting in Dead Rising 1 wasn't very extensive, but it was unique.
Okay.
So I just wanted to clarify one thing though, because I think I gathered it from what you were saying, but so the 72 hours, so that clock is ticking the whole time.
Yep.
And when
you
it
can
runs
actually look
out,
at your watch.
That's when you have to get to the place or you've lost, right? So you have 72 hours to just kind of free play and see how far you can get or what you can do within that. Okay.
Is it real time? 72 hours?
No.
Okay.
It's
I
like,
figured I would ask.
That's a fair question because real time 72 hours you would feel like, for example, Red Dead Redemption 2 is an 80-hour game, and that's with just doing the missions and maybe fishing every now and then. So 80 hours is a huge chunk of game time in real life, and so like they have to speed it up.
Like
okay, so it's sped up.
Yeah.
Okay. Can you gain back any time, or is that not a thing because it's not realistic then?
Yeah.
Okay.
You can't, and there are certain points in the story that actually, like, advance the time because there's certain times
because it just takes you longer to do things. Gotcha.
Yeah.
That's pretty cool.
All right.
Yeah.
Okay. Number 1. It is
The Last of Us.
All right.
So this one came out in 2013 for the PS3 originally.
Okay.
This was one of the last games for PS3, and it really showed how powerful systems really could be. Because at this point, developers had the PS3 for 10 plus years, and they were finally able to figure out how to unlock as much capacity as it could push.
Okay.
And this game won multiple awards for everything. Like, soundtrack was wonderful in Last of Us, and there's certain parts of the game where you're on the edge of your seat for most of it because you are limited on ammo, you're limited on supplies, you're limited on anything like that. And it was beautifully done because this was one of the first games that had a non-controllable sidekick player that was actually helpful.
Oh.
So because Ellie would kill some of the enemies, and she would pick up supplies, and like she would sneak around with you.
Like that kid in Indiana Jones.
Short Round?
Yeah.
Or Navi the fairy in Zelda.
Hey, listen.
Yeah. So helpful.
Yeah, so Ellie was actually helpful, and
that's good.
Yeah. And The Last of Us was a beautiful game. There was a moment where you have to sneak past multiple clickers is what they were called, because there were different levels of zombies.
Okay.
And it was in the dark in the subway, I believe. And like there was literally like 6-7 of them, and you don't have enough ammo or weapons to kill all of them, so you're almost forced to sneak through. But there's different paths you can go through to sneak.
Okay.
Yeah.
Now, if I remember, you commissioned your mother to make a painting that was of The Last of Us.
I did.
Is that true?
That is true.
And had that big of an impact on you. Obviously, number 1, but you also have a painting of it.
And the painting I actually chose is Ellie petting a giraffe, and I don't want to give away too much because it's very late in the game.
Yeah, don't give away the ending if people want to.
It's not the ending, but it's a moment. It's a moment where you step back and you see certain things, and you're like, wow, that was beautiful. This moment was the last couple of humans in the world, and they meet creatures of substantial size and giraffes. And it's puts it in perspective of where the world is at that time. So
gotcha. Interesting. I had no idea. Like, I was just like, oh, whatever, video game painting. Like,
yeah. I kind of figured it was pretty significant if you asked for it. So. Yeah.
That moment was an excellent video game moment.
Good.
I noticed that it was made by Naughty Dog, and I was like, they make the best video games because Crash Bandicoot.
Naughty Dog. Yeah, Crash Bandicoot.
So
Crash Bandicoot.
obviously it has to be a good game.
They also made the Nathan Drake series.
Oh, Uncharted.
The Uncharted series.
Look at me knowing some things, because you were like, play this game, it's great, and I was horrible at it, and I quit. Yeah. So
is that the one where you're out in like the swamps and jungle and stuff?
Uncharted it's kind of like National Treasure,
train thing, and you gotta climb out of the train.
That's the first part.
So I did that, and then I got to like this courtyard, which is not very far in the game, and I kept getting caught, and I was like, I'm done playing.
That's the next
level. So I got
level 2.
Level 2 done.
Level 2.
Playing easy, still couldn't do it. I kept getting caught, and I was like, this is fine.
Yeah.
Maybe I'll play it one day. I won't.
The Last of Us is not one I don't think you can.
I can't play most video games.
It's a pretty hard game, but
it seems like there's a lot involved with it. A lot of scarcity, a lot of needing to not just go in guns blazing. So, well, could we say essentially like an opposite of Dead Rising?
Right? It is definitely an opposite of from Left 4 Dead and Dead Rising.
Right,
complete opposites from both of them.
Right, so you have to kind of play on a micro level rather than a macro level, so you have to kind of be careful with things.
It's a survival horror game.
Okay,
you have to survive. That's the whole point. The whole premise is to survive.
So I noticed, and so did Mike, that 4 of your 5 video games all are zombie-esque in nature.
Yeah.
So what's up with that?
Well, for starters, a lot of the horror games that don't involve undead or infected aren't that good. As far as I know, I never played them, but The best example I can give you for a ghost game would be Fatal Frame, and that one I never played, but you're a character and you go and you take pictures, and like sometimes the ghosts will show up in the picture. And as far as I know, I don't actually know.
What about Luigi's Haunted Mansion or something?
Yeah, that is.
Yeah, what about that?
I know that one is severe. That one I should have.
Because didn't you play that a lot?
No,
Nightmares.
No,
Right?
I never
just
played that one.
assumed you would have because you were like you love Luigi and stuff. Like it makes no sense why you wouldn't.
I know. No, that one I never played.
All right. Well,
yeah.
Fine.
I know.
I mean, that makes sense, though, the reasoning for most undead. I mean, you're shooting them and, like, cities and stuff. That makes way more sense in, like, a video game type of world.
Right, because, I mean, if you're trying to transition to, like, an interactive experience, like a video game, how do you necessarily communicate in interactivity if it's, like, ghost, paranormal, or psychological things that are happening in your brain? On a movie, they can show you imagery that can help you understand that, but how do you make that interactive? Exactly. It's much more difficult to do.
And I would say that it was more so recently that they've started going into the direction of other things besides zombies, because zombies are very played out. They're in every Call of Duty game at this point.
Yeah.
But The Evil Within did an excellent job. There are undead aspects, but a lot of it are ghosts and demons and things like that.
Didn't you play Silent Hill too? Wasn't that like
Silent
other, not just zombies?
Yeah, that one's a couple of different things, but that one also kind of
does have like line. Infected.
But you need to have those generic, like peon characters that you have to end up killing and to gain experience. It can't just be all bosses. I mean, there is one game, Shadow of the Colossus, that is all bosses.
Yep.
And that is a beautiful game. Cuphead is another one that's all bosses, but anyway.
And what about Dante's Inferno?
Dante's Inferno was... that was a game. I played that one. I played that one all the way through, and you go through the circles of hell, and you fight like all the 7 sins and things like that. And it's extremely gory. Again.
Is that one any good?
It was pretty good. It's kind of like God of War. Same mechanics, but
I only know him from Mortal Kombat.
Yeah.
Kratos? So, as a downloadable character.
Yeah, that's all I know.
But the same mechanics apply. So, and that's a great game, too.
Well, to wrap this entire podcast up, which was like super interesting, like I learned stuff.
Oh, yeah.
Not what the eyeballs were. I swear, I'm going to look it up.
That's what we need to know about.
It's going to drive me nuts. Yeah. But so, scariest video game moments. Do you guys have one?
I have a couple. But.
Okay, pick one. Mike, we'll go with you first.
Well, I don't feel as prepared for the question.
Okay.
I'm going to pass off to Eric.
I can go.
No, maybe
so I played Slenderman for like 5 minutes.
Yeah.
And then I was like, what? Because it like hopped up and I was like, I'm done. So
it's a pop-up scare.
Yeah, and I did not like it at all. And I don't play enough games that would have scary elements because it's just like Mario Kart and stuff. So, but definitely that for the few minutes that I played.
Yeah. So if I had to pick one scariest moment, it was when I was playing BioShock Infinite, and it's fairly far into the story, and you get to a certain area, and there's this hooded wraith-like character,
like from Lord of the Rings,
or almost like in Harry Potter, the Dementors.
Oh yeah.
Kind of like that.
Okay.
And so like he randomly just pops up as you're walking through this level.
Okay.
And then you get to a cutscene where you're watching a movie or something.
Okay.
And then you turn around and he's there immediately.
Oh.
It was the first time I'd ever actually audibly yelled and like I flailed my body because I was like, oh, I did not expect it. It just blew me away. I was very scared.
Did Michelle see that then?
No, this was when the game first came out.
Okay.
So this was a while ago.
So she will.
So
she's beaten Infinite, so she knows exactly what happens. But
okay. Because I wasn't sure if she had the same reaction.
I don't think so. I'll have to ask her about it.
Okay. Yeah.
Got it.
Mike?
So thank you guys. Bought myself just enough time. I couldn't really think of scariest moments, so I'm just going to take the situation a little bit more liberally. Aliens, Colonial Marines. So for me, the Aliens franchise was always one that scared me. Like from a very young age, I can remember like it being in dark rooms and just thinking like one of those things would just right there, and
Of
I wouldn't be
course.
able to
The
hear it.
facehuggers.
Yeah,
Yes,
they would
exactly.
obviously they would show up.
So I played Aliens Colonial Marines very briefly because
Is this that more recent one?
This is
not
back when
not more recent. We lived in Hales.
Yeah, okay, so like 5 years ago.
Yeah.
About that, yeah.
Okay,
So
I remember
yeah,
this.
yes,
then.
This was before Isolation came out.
Yeah, so this would be like them crawling on the walls and crawling at you, and I
Dungeon
think
crawlers.
No.
I know.
yeah, and I think like just it for me personally, it just gave me like I was like, no, I can't do it, I can't go back. Like it was a bit much for me.
Gotcha.
That was also,
personally, just me.
That was also mechanically a very bad game. That was like a very bad game.
Right. Yeah.
But it was one of those.
The concept for me,
you're more of a casual gamer, so it worked because it was
right.
something you had interest in. So that's kind of.
Well, and I think that's it too. Is you have to be interested in the game you're playing. Otherwise, you're not going to go all the way through. Because it does. I mean, games get harder. So like, what's the point of playing? It's like why they nerf people. Like, why are you going to keep playing? You know, if you're not having a good time.
Yeah. If you know that this one character is too powerful, and you're just going to get frustrated.
Yeah. Exactly.
I will shout out a funny moment of a game.
Okay.
One quick moment.
Yeah.
I have to. Stubbs the Zombie is not technically a horror game. Came out for the original Xbox a long time ago, and you play as a zombie. And you go into this futuristic 50s almost, and you go through and you actually just infect people, and like you get different power-ups and things. Like you can roll your head as a bowling ball and it explodes.
Oh my gosh.
You can pull out your liver.
Nope.
And throw that. The best one though is you can take off your arm and you gain control of whoever it lands on. So there was jetpack guys. And they were Barbershop Quartet for some reason.
Okay.
The entire game was so weird, but it's one of the greatest games ever.
Huh.
And I actually hooked my arm onto the flying guy, and so I was flying with a jetpack, like all over the place. It was amazing.
Wow!
Just wanted to give that.
Well, I do have one bonus one I want to ask you about because you see a lot of younger kids with a lot of shirts that show Five Nights at Freddy's. Eric, have you played this game? And if so, what are your quick thoughts on it?
I have played Five Nights at Freddy's, and it's another unique type of game. You're a security guard, and you have to keep an eye on these moving animatronics as they try to get to your security room. And so you can look at the map, and you can see that there's certain levels and rooms that they can get to. If you can see them on the camera, they can't move if you have them spotted. But sometimes you'll cut to the hallway camera, and there's literally one running right to your door.
Oh my gosh!
It's the scariest thing. Like I hated that game.
I want to play that game because I love like animatronics.
Five Nights at Freddy's
and
1
stuff.
is really cheap and like it's. I guarantee you can play on this, but Five Nights at Freddy's is all you really need.
Yeah.
Anything beyond that's just overkill for me.
Yeah, I think that'd be fun. I want to play it because like everybody always talks about it, and I love animatronics, and it would be fun.
Yeah.
The challenge though is that I think, and correct me if I'm wrong, there's a limited amount of time you get to have, right? So like you can't just keep the camera on them to stop them from moving the whole time, right?
There's actually limited power, so if you run out of power, you can't lock the doors, and that's the way to keep them away. You can either have the doors locked, but that drains the power. You have to keep them open for a certain amount of time.
Huh.
But if they're unlocked, they're just gonna come in.
Sure.
So you have to lock it as soon as you know they're coming for you.
Interesting.
So like if you see them running down the hallway, you lock that door.
Huh. All right.
Okay.
It's also very hard, so get ready for that.
So I'll play for like 5 minutes and give up.
Yeah.
But, all right, I think that about wraps up this episode. So thanks, Eric.
Yeah, thanks for coming on down.
I feel like I'm honored to be on the show.
No.
And I'm honored to bless you with my
with your
limited average video game knowledge.
Well, it's much higher than our novice easy level of video game knowledge. So casual, right? That's
right. Yeah.
Casual gamer.
I knew that you'd be able to add something to our podcast that we really can't.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So because we don't have that experience, and I think this falls into the spooky realm. You know, I think it'd be fun. So and it was. So.
Yeah, there's millions of gamers, and you know, I'm happy to give them a voice.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, but we'll have to have you on again talking about some other video game stuff because I know you had lots of ideas. So.
Yeah. we'll come back for volume number 2.
Yeah, absolutely. Awesome.
Really good. Okay.
All right. Thanks, guys.
Thank you, guys.
you.
Thank you, everybody, and stay cool out there.
Stay cool.
I have nothing to add.
Bye.
Okay.